Hi, good morning. How is everyone today? Today I thought I would talk about a really fun subject. I had gone to the Renaissance Festival yesterday. Where was that at? In Crownsville, Maryland. And I was walking around and I came across this one shop and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Well, what I came across was buying wands. This one is made out of cedar, which does certain things. It's a little bit lighter, but this one is made out of oak, and it's the hardest wood. And I had gone to this other shop, and they were selling hematite and all kinds of different things. And I ended up getting this ring at the same thing. I just put it on here so tight. It's a green kind of a ring to put around it for actually a reason. And on the back of it, this has a little story behind it, this oak. When I had gone up to this shop, I was asking the shopkeeper, do you have a wand in oak? I have never owned a wand. And I thought, oh my gosh, how cool is that? Let's do a wand, because there's a whole story behind wood. Wood is a medium that can go through several dimensions. It resonates through it. And of course, I was telling the man about what he was selling. And he was like, tell me more. And I was telling him that the Sasquatch, the reason that they can disappear in front of you if they're young or old is because they can bite into a certain type of wood and they can match that dimensional frequency, because it does help for them to transcend that, or they end up making all kinds of like pyramids in the forest with trees and stuff, which of course then they can step into it and changes their frequency, or they can change their frequency, because Sasquatch are not strictly biological, they're also plant-based. I think I've talked about this on videos priorly. You'll have to find them. But yeah, that's why they can do all this stuff, because they're not strictly, I don't know what you'd call that, just biological as far as, I don't know, animal. Because they're plant and animal. But getting back to the wands, when I first went there, this wand was out there, and I immediately picked it up. Now, when you pick up a wand, it's only because you're going to match your frequency to that specific type of tree. I know the Harry Potter thing was real big on that, and they were talking about a phoenix feather inside of there, except that I will tell you this, the phoenix was never meant to be inside of the wood to a degree. It's an event. It's a weapon. And so they took a weapon and put it inside of the wood to make a bigger device. At least they did on that Harry Potter. That's what that was all about. So, interesting. I resonated to this. The man had lots and lots of wands. They actually got the wood, and they actually carved it, stained it, sanded it. It's all hand done by an individual. And if you ever go to get a wand, you'll either go into the woods and make your own, or you'll get one that's been literally handled by a human being, because it does something to it. It's like some kind of great relationship between a human and a piece of wood. But I had asked the man initially, I said, do you have oak? And he's like, no, I don't believe so. So I bought that cedar one, the cedar one. And I kept thinking, and it was nagging on me, go back to the man. He's got a wand for you. He's going to find it for you. So at the end of the time when I was there, because the thing ran from 10 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock in the evening, I ended up going back to where he was. And he saw me, and I was like, I want to look for another wand. So I was talking to him. I had my niece with me, Faith, and she had bought a wand. It was Ogier or something like that, or Azure Pear or something, beautiful wand. And I was like, well, let me see some more carved ones. And I want the ones that are on the upper scale, because I want the really well-made ones, because the ones that were out there, most of them were for children, and they weren't made very well. And I'm like, no, not these, none of these, because it was also an inferior wood. All wood is good, but there is quality in the wood when you make the wand. So he came back out and he had like 4 or 5 wands. And as soon as he put this wand down on the table, it was the plainest one. All the rest were all carved up and beautiful and painted. And it was like, oh my gosh. I grabbed this wand and I'm like, what is this? He goes, I found an oak one for you. The fact that he remembered me from thousands and thousands of people that were coming and going in this place. But yeah, he remembered me. He went and he sussed out this wand. And as soon as I picked it up, I noticed on the bottom, and there it is. None of them had that. The tree of knowledge, the tree of life. I was like, oh my gosh. I picked it up and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is it. This is your energy. Now let's talk about wands and what's the purpose of them. We all have a field around us, our auric field. And what wood does is it's a dimensional transfer. And you can take your energy. You'll have to work on it just like anything else. And you can put your energy in, through, put your hand around it, because your hand is a big energy center, plus your fingers. You put your hand around it, and your energy will actually go through this medium. It's almost like if you wanted to learn how to start using your abilities of your aura field, your energy field, you could start with this. It would be like, what do you put on bicycles when you can't ride them? Training wheels. This would be a training wheel. Remember, we don't need anything, but if you want to start slowly, this would be like training wheels. So you can actually focus depending on the shape and size of your wand. You can focus your energy into like a pinpoint. Now, I was doing this the other day when I got it yesterday, and I got home and I'm like, oh, I've never had a wand. Let me see how this works with a piece of wood. I do know that dowsing is the same thing. You get a U-shaped with a single thing on it where you handle the U of the wood, and you can go find water witching. So I was like, okay, let's go on the prospect of water witching. So I put this in my hand, and immediately I could feel my energy flowing through it. And I was like, I want to see how this feels. So I stuck my hand up, and then I put my wand here, and I can feel it now. I can feel it cutting across my hand, because all it's doing is putting my energy into this, and it's flowing through to a pinpoint. This is a great beginner tool to start you using your own energy. I feel it going around in my hand, a circle going around in my hand. So if you want to start learning how to manipulate your own energy field, this is a great tool. Now, when I had gone over to the other guy, there was like so many places to go in there. This one guy was selling all kinds of crystals and what have you. And I found this ring, and I stuck it on here. And I'm like, yeah, that seems to fit this wand. But I had also found hematite. So I got hematite rings. I guess they block EMFs from, oh, did you see that? When I got it close to the to the phone, it just, my phone just glitched. EMF blockers. And if you go and look, I actually wrote down all EMF blockers. Now, here's my list. And all of these on here block EMFs. And the EMFs are from the Bluetooth, they're from the Wi-Fi, they're from your TV, your phones, any devices that if you needed to be protective, EMF blockers. Of course, I have I have rose quartz here, and then in the middle I have the hematite, and then I have, what was this one called? Shungite. This one is shungite. And then I have the tourmaline, hematite, and then smoky quartz fluorite. I also have this, which is another big one. It's a fluorite in the middle, and then it's got different things around it. Look at this. It's really affecting my phone. It's glitching in and out. It might be the hematite. But very interesting. I'm starting to wear this around people. I had gone over to my father's house the other day, and I was with my brother Chris and my dad. They've all been, bioweaponed up to the hilt. And after I was done spending time with them, I got deathly ill because of their EMFs coming out of them, because they are now carrying motherboards inside of them. And it's basically like tasering anyone it doesn't find a motherboard inside of. So it's like that weaponry inside of them is just if it can't detect AI inside of another being, it just goes on to the defensive. So I ended up coming home. I ended up with my glands right here just kind of blew up. My ears were so horrified. I thought I was going to end up with vertigo. The night was a nightmare. I couldn't sleep. My mucus built up so bad I was swallowing. I was having a big problem. And I thought, you know what? I'll have to go back to arming up again and strengthening my own biofield with this stuff, because it'll help me. And this is what I'm suggesting to everyone. Now we're going to slide into the next subject. These last bioweapons that are going to be distributed. I talked about this with several people over the last week. Arthur had me look into this last one, and I was quite horrified what I saw. Right now, all those people come up on the Bluetooth device, but you cannot connect to them. This last thing will be the connection to open up all these people to be then accessed. And it was like, oh gosh, and all this stuff came flooding through. So there are several things they want to do here. One is, if you have a dead internet and you needed to expand it, you're going to have to look for a data space somewhere. And with the new laws that they have created, once you have this biotech inside of you, you no longer own your being. They've taken it over like they own it because you've got their stuff inside of you. And they will download parts of your brain with information. Not just only you, but a lot of people. So if you die, it's still in A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. But what it does is takes the dead internet and it opens it up broader, because it gives it more data space. And I've talked about this before. Also, when you are now a device that can be hooked up to, you can be hooked up to the cloud now. You can be opened up. So that means if I did not want you people because of, I think you're too many, or you're protesting, or what have you, I noticed that on the Bluetooth device, different people come up differently. It's like starts with the number 1, and then a whole sequence of numbers and letters. And then 2, same thing. 3, all the way to 9. And then there's just letters, and then numbers. And I saw that they could just take a sequence. So when they handed out this batch to inject everyone with, it had all different ones in it, 1 through 9 and letters. And that way they could get a whole bunch of the populace on different things for coding. And once everyone goes that's had this, gets this, you are now, I can shut you down. I don't like what you're doing. I'm going to stop your heart. I don't like what you're saying. I'm going to stop your lungs. These nanobot things inside of you, parasitic, whatever, tubes, what have you, have been growing in these people, and it took it a while to grow to a certain stage. Arthur asked me, why didn't they just give you this and this to activate it at the same time? And I said, well, they couldn't. This had to grow inside of you first so they could put the last stage in to open you up. Because, with some of the, with all of the neurotoxins, it's breaking down your system for detoxing. So if you had 100% immunity, if they gave you both of it at the same time, your body would just have flushed the second half of it, and it would never be able to open up the tech that's inside. because your kidneys would be working, your organs would be working, what have you. You could detox. You would, no problem. You could eliminate these things. And this is why they had to start you off here, get this system inside of you, then give you more to get you used to having these shots, so that the final one, which is the one coming now, which opens up all the tech and makes you a connectable device, could be done. But what they didn't foresee was the information getting out too soon or ever, and then vaccine hesitancy. I don't even know what else to say. Bioweapon hesitancy. So now they're like, okay, let's just do a quick sweep. Let's get everyone that we can now, so that we can have these connectable devices, and then we can, what was that? What Biden was promising, a dark winter? Well, now we can give them the dark winter. And now we're going to say it's going to be all these V words again, that don't exist, except in plants, and only 2. Yeah, plant viruses. So it's just a whole thing. I mean, wake up, everyone. Of course, on my channel, I don't need to be screaming, wake up, everyone. But there is that. So it's the last thing to get you to be opened up as a connected device. And it's so funny because Arthur was telling me, he goes, I just read this thing, and they said that if you haven't already had your bioweapon, you are not allowed to get this bioweapon. Well, of course not, because it would be wasted material, and someone's still got to pay for that to get done. So they're not going to put it an opening device, that last piece, because if you don't have anything inside of you, there's nothing to open. Your body would just eliminate it. It's a waste, basically. So we're coming to the end of this. We'll find out who was stupid enough to do all these things. And I'm sure a big chunk of our populace was, of course, because the propaganda media is constantly pumping negativity and you're going to die. So funny. If you knew inside of you you were an eternal being, would you be so afraid of passing to the next reality? Of course not. Of course not. So, but yes, I went to the Renaissance Festival. I got some wands. I'm going to be practicing with them. Although I can still manipulate stuff through my hands. I don't really need wands, but I thought, why not? Everybody needs training wheels. So, interesting. And I'm going to be, I bought 2 wands. I'm going to keep one and I'm giving one away. And I haven't decided which one I want, because I resonate with both of them. The cedar, I swear, the cedar one is just awesome. Just awesome. But the oak one, I don't know. I mean, come on. It's the only one that had that, really? I think there was one other one that had this. And it wasn't oak, though, but I picked it up and it was horrible. But, wow. We shall see. Okay, I guess on that note, everybody, raise your vibrations. Have a great day. Let's start working with these abilities that we have inside of us. We're going to start with training wheels. I already talked about the clouds. Try to do manipulation of the clouds just to get you into the mindset that you can do this. Also, there's those pixelated, I don't know what they're called. The pictures that look like a whole bunch of nothing? And then if you focus on it, all of a sudden a picture comes out, or you can actually see in multiple, like 3D. And that's activating your pineal gland. You might want to go try to find those, put them on your big TV. Make sure you have on your hematite or anything that was on my list. If you're going to sit in front of that TV so you're not affected. And start focusing on it. Actually, the best way to see that, to train yourself to do it with first, like baby steps, is when you see that picture, you're going to go to a point, look at your finger, and you're going to cross your eyes, kind of stay that way, and look at the picture in the background. And before you know it, you'll pull back out, and you'll be able to see it because you're activating another part of your brain that never gets used. So there are different things we can start doing in our reality so that we can start unlocking our DNA, so that we can start raising into a more plausible reality where we're not controlled. I mean, these are all baby steps we're taking to be more than what we said we were. We got to start somewhere. So, okay, on that note, I guess everybody have a really great day, and I'll see you on my next video. Raise those vibrations and be happy. At least try. Make your reality your own. All right. Bye.